Assalamualaikum guys, Gamunacho, it's Jannatul. Welcome to part 1 of things to consider when you're traveling to Turkey during COVID. So let's get started. So number 1 is hotel versus Airbnb, where you should stay and how to get the best deals. So between hotels and Airbnb, we've actually stayed in both. Before getting to Turkey, we actually booked at Airbnb because online when we looked through hotels and Airbnb, we found that Airbnb had the better deal. So we booked a place, and when we got here, we actually realized that some of the boutique hotels around that same area were priced significantly lower and also had better amenities as well. And I think the reason for that is when we usually look at hotels online, we usually see the big hotels, but what don't show up in our Google searches are the boutique hotels who actually have a really great discount right now, especially because of COVID. So when we realized that after getting here, what we actually did was do something called like hotel shopping, which was basically we went to the area that we wanted to stay the most. For us, that was near and around Hagia Sophia and Sultani Ahmet. All of the hotels in that area are just located in one cluster. You can just walk down sort of the block, and all of them are right next to each other. So what we basically did was just walk in the hotels and ask them if they had a room, how much it was, and if we could take a look. And surprisingly, most of the hotels, almost all of the hotels, had a very cheap rate due to COVID. Some of the places were even 70% off, and the great thing about being able to go see the rooms is we knew exactly what we were getting, the size of the room, all of that great stuff, which was very important to us since we are doing a long-term stay. So the hotel that we're staying at right now has free breakfast, and it's located about like 5 minutes from Hagia Sophia, and it's only about $23 a night. Originally, this hotel is about 70-80 USD per night, but we got a great deal for just walking in, and because of COVID, and also because it's a boutique hotel, so it's not very big. It's just trying to stay open during COVID, and that's also one of the reasons why it can afford to give us the rate that it is giving us. The Airbnb that we were staying at previously didn't have like free breakfast. We had to go look for breakfast, which was really hard because of COVID and things opened really late. We didn't have a lot of the amenities, and it wasn't very it just wasn't a very great area to stay in general. So what I would recommend is, if you're staying for a week, okay, maybe you don't want to go through the hassle, it's a good idea to just book the place before getting here. But if you're staying longer than a week, I would definitely suggest only booking a night or two at a hotel just so you're rested up, and then going hotel shopping and finding the best deals out there. Next up is where to get food and snacks. So first off, very important point that I want to raise is grabbing food at the airport, especially if you're landing at night. If you're landing on a weekend, I highly recommend getting food at the airport. The reason I say this is because when we got here, we actually made the mistake of not grabbing anything at the airport, and when we got to our Airbnb, we realized that everything around us was closed. So we went to bed hungry and thirsty, and it was not a great experience at all. So I would just recommend just off the bat, grab a meal, grab some snacks, grab some water, coffee, whatever you need, and just take that with you so that you have something to sustain yourself with until the next day or until things open back up. Depending on the area that you're staying in, especially now with lockdowns and COVID, things might not be open until noon the next day. Things may be closing at 5-6 o'clock in the evening, and a lot of stores around you might actually be temporarily closed or permanently closed due to COVID. So you never really know what situation you're going to be in. So definitely grab some stuff at the airport so that you at least have something to sustain yourself when you get to the hotel and you're not like scrambling for food or water or anything like that. In terms of where to grab meals when you're sightseeing, one of the tricks that I use and found really, really helpful in terms of getting the best value and saving money is not eating around the like 1 block, 2 block proximity of the touristy attraction that I'm seeing. So for example, if I'm right in Hagia Sophia or around that area, anything in that 1 to 2 block proximity is going to be like double, triple the price. Whereas if you walk maybe 5-10 minutes in either directions, especially in the little alleys, things will be significantly cheaper. An example I like to use and that I've seen really like vary in prices is some of the wraps that they have, which are super yummy, super filling, but the price really ranges. So for example, if you're getting it from a shop right in front of Hagia Sophia or in that area, that wrap is going to cost you anywhere from 18 to 25 to even 30 liras. Whereas if you walk 5 to 10 minutes, it can range from like 7 to 10 to 12 liras, which makes a significant difference if you're staying long term and are really looking to save some cash. Now, an extended part of food and meals is snacks. So I would honestly say if you're a person who loves to snack and just wants to have snacks either in your hotel room or carry around while you're in and around walking around, the best place to get snacks is the local shops, and let me tell you how to identify them. So basically, if you walk maybe 5-10 minutes from the touristy area or in and around your hotel, depending on the area, the way that you really know that it's like a local mom and pop type of shop is it usually has like fruits and veggie carts outside the store, and when you walk in, it looks like a small sort of convenience like corner store, and these places honestly have the like best deals. So one of the things I like grabbing from these small supermarkets is water. So most of these stores will have about a 10-liter water bottle, which is about 2.5 gallons of water, and this costs somewhere around 8 to 10 liras depending on where you're getting it from. And I like getting these and leaving it in the hotel room and getting a smaller bottle and just refilling that bottle while I'm walking around. The reason I like doing that is when you buy the smaller bottles, they're about like this big and they can cost you 8, 12, 16 liras depending on where you're at. Whereas if you just get one of the big bottles, you get it for a way cheaper price and you get more water for it, and you can just refill your water bottle and take it around with you. So that's definitely something that I recommend. The shops also have fruits for like 7-8 liras, which is like about $1, and then they have like milk, they have cookies for like 3 to 5 liras. They have some really, really amazing cookies that I love sharing on my Insta page, Janatal Eats, so feel free to give that a follow. They have the best snacks, honestly, and they're at such a great price, so feel free to grab some off the shelf and honestly go ahead and try some Turkish snacks. So the next thing I want to touch base on is how to get around Turkey. So honestly, the answer to this is twofold, especially now because it's COVID. So there's essentially like 3 ways to get around Turkey. You can either walk, take a taxi, or take a tram, right? Or of course like a bus or any other public transportation that's available here. Number one, in terms of taking a taxi, taxis can be really expensive, especially if they know that you're a tourist. They usually charge like a very high price, and depending on the time of the day, the price really changes like a lot. So for example, when we were staying in Taksim Square and we wanted to come to Hagia Sophia, when we would come in the morning or like even in the afternoon, they would they would charge us like 35 liras. And then when we would want to go back in the evening, it would be like 70 liras, 105 liras, 90 liras, and we'd be like, whoa, like what is exactly the right price? And it's not like we would take the first taxi that comes to us. We would walk around and ask around, and it would seem like the prices just kept going up. So we ended up paying a lot in taxis that 1 week that we stayed in Taksim Square and wanted to explore Hagia Sophia. The second thing that you can take is the trams and the buses, which are significantly cheaper. So for example, a tram from Taksim Square to Hagia Sophia will cost you somewhere around 4 liras. But the reason I wouldn't recommend public transportation right now is because of COVID. Public transportation really gets like super crowded, and especially because locals are also taking it. So they're super crowded and probably not a safe idea during COVID. So honestly, between taxis and trams, I would honestly recommend walking. So what I would recommend is picking a hotel around the area that you want to explore the most. So for us, the area that we wanted to explore the most was Sultani Ahmed, around Hagia Sophia area. That's where, you know, Grand Bazaar is, Hagia Sophia, Blue Mosque, Sulaimani Mosque, Tokapak, I can never pronounce this right, Topkapi Palace, and a lot of the other architectural delights in Turkey are located. So that's why we chose to stay here, and all of those sites are actually walking distance from here. So we ended up saving a lot of money on taxis and just avoiding that altogether. If it was different times, I would recommend, you know, find an area wherever you feel fits right for you and you take the tram. But honestly, because of COVID, I definitely would not recommend that. I would just recommend, especially now because the hotels around the touristy areas are priced a lot cheaper, you'll be saving a lot of money just doing that instead of taking a taxi back and forth that will actually cost you a lot more. So there's my advice on that. The last thing I want to touch on is what to pack when you're coming to Turkey during COVID. So the first thing is masks. Bring plenty of masks, especially if you're like me. I forget where I put my mask, it falls on the floor, it gets lost, I don't know what happens to it, it disappears into thin air, I don't know. But bring plenty of masks. I haven't really seen a lot of masks being sold in stores in around here, so you don't really want to be left without a mask or really searching a store to buy a mask at right now. It's just better to just bring a pack. Also, if you're not wearing a mask in public areas, especially touristy areas, there's actually police and security around those areas, and they will ask you to turn back around and go home. So make sure that you're wearing a mask at all times and you pack plenty of backups. The next thing I would say to pack is hand sanitizers. Bring a pocket-sized one and bring a big one if you're planning on staying long-term so that you can refill that. I always keep a pocket-sized one in my pocket, so if I'm eating out, if I'm in a heavily touristy area and I, you know, touch stuff, I always just like keeping it in my pocket and then just using a little bit of it, keep my hands clean before I eat, after I eat, before I enter my hotel, whatever it is, just to be extra safe. That's hand sanitizer is also the other thing that I haven't really seen much of around being sold in stores. I will say they are available in most like restaurants and hotels. They have it for their guests, they have it at the entrance, but I haven't really seen it being like sold for personal use. So that's definitely something I would say to make sure that you pack. The third thing I would say to pack is Lysol wipes. So it's definitely very handy to have that with you. It's also something I haven't seen being sold in stores, but the reason that I would say bring Lysol wipes is, especially if you're going to be eating out a lot, it's good to have the wipes. You can, you know, wipe down the tables, whatever it is. Most restaurants are, you know, wiping them down after guest leaves, but you don't really want to be taking the risk. So just bring a small pack to be able to carry places and, you know, wipe down the chair, wipe down the table, whatever it is, just for your own safety. So definitely do that. So that's all I can think of right now as the three most important things to really pack when you're traveling during COVID. Okay guys, so that is all for part one of things to consider before you're traveling to Turkey during COVID. If you liked this video and found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel below. Thank you so much. See you later. Bye.